For centuries, the Valerie collective had whispered of a ghost race. Old traders spoke of a species born on a death world, beings who conquered nature itself and walked among predators as equals. The stories claimed they were masters of war, relentless and unyielding, but no proof had ever surfaced. Most dismissed them as myths, legends born from forgotten wars, a bedtime tale to frighten hatchlings. But that changed the day Admiral Tanear's fleet caught a signal from the edge of Valerie space. It wasn't alien. It wasn't unknown. It was a voice, clear, sharp, and carrying in a language the auto-translation struggled to tame. This is the Terran Expeditionary Fleet. You are encroaching on human territory. Withdraw immediately. The Admiral laughed when he heard it. Humans were fiction. A story. Nothing more. Yet moments later, sensors lit up. 100 ships emerged from the void. The Valerie fleet had faced every neighbor, every rival, and always prevailed. Their warships were larger, more advanced, coated in living armor that adapted to enemy fire. They expected another easy victory. But the human fleet was unlike anything they had ever seen. The vessels weren't elegant. They were brutal, blocky, scarred, and bristling with weapons. Their engines burned hotter than regulations allowed, their armor layered in crude but effective slabs. It was the look of a species that didn't design for beauty, but for survival. Tanear ordered his ships forward. Plasma lances lit the void, striking the human front line. The Terran vessels staggered but did not break. Instead, they returned fire with railguns that hurled slugs the size of shuttlecraft, tearing through Valerie armor like paper. Explosions rippled across the Admiral's formation. Still, he held firm. They bleed like any other, he snarled. But humans didn't fight like any other. They swarmed, splitting into wolf-pack formations, harrying Valerie ships from all sides. They feigned retreat, then struck again with brutal precision. They hacked communications, flooded the network with false orders, and jammed navigational arrays. Within minutes, the once mighty fleet was a fractured mess. Tanear watched in disbelief. They fight like predators. The truth hit him like a blade. These weren't myths. These were humans. On the bridge of the TSS Resolute, Admiral Sarah Grant surveyed the chaos with cold eyes. Her crew moved like an extension of her will, each command executed with ruthless efficiency. "Press the line," she ordered. "Don't give them room to regroup." The Valerie tried everything: boarding parties, suicide rams, even collapsing a nearby moon into a kinetic weapon. But the humans adapted faster than the Valerie could plan. They countered, improvised, and turned desperation into strategy. For hours, the battle raged. Then the decisive strike came. The Resolute plunged straight through the center of Tanear's formation, its hull burning from a dozen impacts. Grant's fleet followed, splitting the Valerie line in half. Cut off and isolated, the warlords who had once thought themselves invincible fell one by one. At last, only Tanear's flagship remained. He stared at the human ships surrounding him. "You cannot be real," he whispered. "You are myths, stories." The comm screen flickered, and Admiral Grant's face appeared, stern and scarred. "We're real enough," she said. "And this territory? It's ours now." The humans opened fire. The flagship disintegrated into the void, a final flare against the black. When the smoke cleared, the Terran fleet sailed forward, unbroken, unyielding, and terrifying in its resolve. Word spread quickly. Across the stars, civilizations whispered in fear and awe. The myths were true. The Deathworlders existed. Humans had arrived, and they had come not as legends, but as conquerors.